So let's talk about vanishing art. And no, I don't just mean stolen art. I mean art that literally vanishes. It's this incredible mystery that goes way beyond a simple heist. It gets right to the heart of what we, as a society, choose to remember and maybe what we're forced to forget.
All right, picture this. A masterpiece. It was right here.
Hanging there on the wall, perfectly lit, totally secure.
Everyone saw it. It was part of our shared culture, right?
And then, poof, it was just gone. No alarms blaring, no broken glass, just an empty space, a blank spot where a piece of our history used to hang.
Look, we all know what happens when art gets stolen, right? There's a big investigation, headlines, the whole deal. But what if a priceless piece of art just disappears and nobody really looks for it? What if the world is kind of okay with it being gone? Now that is the real mystery here.
And that brings us to this really fascinating and honestly kind of unsettling idea. We're not just talking about art being lost, we're talking about it being deliberately and quietly erased from our collective memory. It's this whole phenomenon of intentional forgetting.
And the scale of this is just huge. We usually think of lost art and picture these dramatic heists or big fires or stuff destroyed in a war. But that's really only a tiny piece of the puzzle. So many of these missing works didn't vanish in some big catastrophe. Nope, they just faded away. Quietly. Systematic.
So how do you make a piece of art just disappear? It's not always this big, dramatic thing. Sometimes the process is almost boring, chillingly bureaucratic. A name gets crossed out of an official record. An investigation file gets quietly closed. And then, over time, the memory of the artwork itself is just gone, wiped clean.
Which really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is every single disappearance a crime? Or is the absence sometimes intentional? To really get the difference, let's dive into a case that pretty much everyone thinks they know.
I'm talking, of course, about the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist. It's like the poster child for stolen art stories, right? It was bold, the art was incredibly valuable, and the case is totally unsolved. Or is it?
Okay, so let's just quickly run through the facts. Back in March 1990, you've got two guys dressed as cops. They talk their way into the museum. In less than an hour and a half, just 81 minutes, they walk out with 13 absolute masterpieces. We're talking works by Rembrandt and Vermeer, and to this day, after all these years of searching, not a single piece has ever turned up.
And the value? The estimated value is a jaw-dropping $500 million. That makes it the single largest private property theft in history. So you see, this wasn't just a robbery. This was someone ripping out a core piece of our cultural heritage. Now, the museum did